This is Jocelyn with Grow Cove. I'm out here on a biomass farm out in southern Oregon, estimated to have about 1 million pounds of biomass this season, and all compliant. This is Jason with Logical Cropping.
But this guy's got,
This is his 300-acre contracted farming, and he was just telling us about the lack of
no drip tape, no mulch, no raised beds, so all irrigated through overhead pivot. So a much different cultivation method than doing row cropping. Mm-hmm. The key to doing this particular style is to make sure your soil has worked really, really well, and that you fertigate really well, and that you've got an effective weed management strategy, because you don't have plastic to keep the weeds at bay.
And so, you're using a genetic that is going to be more compliant.
Yeah, so it's going to be a slightly lower CBD content. So you're also going to have a slightly lower THC content. It should all be well below that 0.3 total THC. This is a genetics out of Colorado. So that's why this genetic was chosen, so that they could do flower and biomass without issue.
And you were just saying your harvest date is on?
October 15th is what this one's slated for. So there will be some field drying if possible. If not, there's some barn drying that we'll do, and then also using dryers to dry the biomass.
And primarily biomass. This is
Correct.
The biomass.
Yep,
farm.
and everything will be combine harvested through modified combines.
Awesome.
And then it's aluminum piping that runs overhead, and it spins like a watch hand on a clock, and it just rains water down on top of the plants.
And so what are you injecting the food through that?
Yeah. So basically what you do is you can plumb in an Ozawa, which would be like an injector pump. Mm-hmm. So you can plumb in an injector pump that would then pump fertilizer out from a tote, and it's all just pre-mixed. The pH is already pre-done to 6.0, so then it just runs right through the overhead irrigation system, and then just delivers water overhead.
It doesn't hit any of the plants or anything?
No, it does. It soaks them.
No, it rolls around. There's no
not this far out, but there are wheel tracks that will run throughout the field. So if we walked that way, you would come across a wheel track where it's going to be a divot in the field.
Insane.
And that's where
Do you think that helps with keeping pollen down for?
Oh, cross pollination?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it would, although, I mean, ideally, you're walking all your fields and culling for males.
Of course.
I wouldn't say that overhead watering is a substitute for an effective male culling strategy by any means. But it would. I mean, it would do that.
So do you have to stop the feeding at a certain time so you don't end up with mold?
No.
So
hemp by design is a much more resistant plant to mold and botrytis than traditional indoor cannabis. So we'll come through and harvest the tops when they're ready and ripe, and then continue feeding through. We'll continue feeding probably through October 7th or 8th, and then we'll stop.
You guys cutting this on the 15th?
That's the plan, yeah.
I can see all the same genetic, all within compliance. Looking to start harvesting October 15th. 300 acres in eastern Oregon.